Hi everybody, we're going to do a Q&A. We're going to talk a little bit today about how to put together a patterned outfit. I'm wearing this particular suit today for various reasons, and this is one of the trickier things in my trickier things in my wardrobe to match. Why is that? Well, this is a boating stripe cloth that I made into a suit because I just thought it would look cool that way. And it's irregular. There's a thick brown, and there's a thin purple, and then there's the thick navy base, right? So first rule for when you want to do pattern matching is you gotta use different scales of patterns throughout. Otherwise, it's just too much, right? You need a little bit of contrast going from element to element. So in this case, I picked this brown butcher stripe shirt. It's a button-down shirt. It's by Drake's. And the scale of the stripe is just different enough to everything on the jacket that it stands out its own piece. You could, if you wanted to, use a solid colored shirt, but actually I think that to kind of maintain a consistency or a coherence between all the different patterns in your outfit is actually more interesting and looks better too. Now, the necktie, or really the accessories, are really important in a case like this because they really help to anchor what you are doing. If you imagine this outfit without the necktie, it actually could be a little bit too much. Whereas having that necktie just brings everything to a conclusion, visually speaking. So let's have a look at some neckties that we have here, and I can give you some examples of what could work, what doesn't work, and why it doesn't work, okay? So we'll start with, for instance, these motif ties. Sam, if you could actually come a little closer so we can get a close-up of these things. So the motif tie on here is not bad, right? It's nice to have a solid thing to finally break up the thicker stripe and the thinner stripe. But the color is a little bit off. The black is almost a little too dark for the outfit. It makes it almost a little too somber, but the character of the outfit is not that somber in the first place. I mean, it's a funky boating stripe as a suit. There's no particular need to use a black tie in this context. Moving on, we have this. This is a midnight and a blue tie. And firstly, it's just too many stripes. Yes, fine, the pattern is a little bit, the pattern roughly matches our formula for having different scales, but it's a little too much. And more importantly, the color of the navy is actually not right. Whereas the navy here is a very red-toned navy, this is actually a much greener-toned navy, and so it looks a little funny too. You have to keep those, the hue of the color in mind. This is interesting. It maybe could work if it wasn't for the fact that it's also blue. But the scale of this pattern is great with stripes. There's something very comforting about seeing stripes and these small repeating motifs together. And in fact, just so you know a little bit of the parlance, this is what we call a foulard. A foulard is basically anything that has a small repeating motif. The gold fox one in this case actually is pretty fun. I would consider that. Maybe not for myself, but I think if I saw someone else wear that, I think that'd be pretty cool. For me, I just find the color a little bright, but that's me personally. Moving on, what do we have? These are interesting too. So these are very dusty colors and very dusty patterns, and especially in the red, it's not bad. I kind of like that. Moving on, these don't work for me, right? This is so fine and bright, it really deserves to have a simple, crisp, businessy suit, not this fun but very complicated thing. So this is out for me as well, both in terms of pattern and in terms of color. If you want an easy default for stuff like this, honestly what I really recommend is either Drake's Grenadines, which I think are awesome, or these, the Armoury silk knits, because we do them in a million colors. And we actually even have a few different types of weaves for the silk ties, and they are great in most situations, but I especially wear them when I am wearing complicated patterned outfits like this. Obviously I'm wearing one right now. I wanted to talk a little bit about how I end up on this tie instead of, say, these three, which are also ties I looked at this morning when I was getting dressed. In a very complicated patterned outfit, yes, obviously you need that anchor, but sometimes you also want something that's a little bit unexpected, right? So for instance, like I started with this brown because the brown obviously matches a lot of the other brown in the outfit, but it's not that interesting. Like it gets a little bit lost. Then I moved on to this kind of, it's like a carrot color, like a burnt orange to carrot sort of color. And it's not bad too, but it's not different enough. So it doesn't stand out in quite the right way. This I thought was interesting, and I almost wore this out because this is so unexpected. This like powdery baby blue on this sea of like very complicated reddish, warmish colors. I really liked this, but in the end, I wanted something that was, I would consider like this kind of sporty. And in the end, I wanted something that was a little bit more elegant as well. So I went with this, right? This is like relatively low contrast, but it also manages to pull all the colors together because this is like a silver with a very strong hint of taupe in it. And so you're still getting to pick up that warm color around it and then anchor it around the center of your body. So that is how I ended up with this one. Alrighty, pattern matching is a very interesting topic, and if you guys have any other suggestions for what I could have worn with this outfit, I would love to hear them because it's always a fun matter of experimentation with these things. And I hope to do one of these again soon because you know what, there's a lot of other outfits and a lot of other patterns that we could be matching together. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.